National Library Week is designed to raise awareness about the importance of public libraries in our community. Paula Brehm-Heeger, the Eva Jane Romaine Coombe Director, leads the two-part discussion. Now, from the newly renovated and expanded Price Hill Branch Library, here's Paula Brehm-Heeger.
We're joined today by City Council member Greg Landsman and City Council member Liz Keating. Thank you very much. I'm going to start with a couple of quick questions. First of all, how do you feel our public library helps make our community stronger?
So our public libraries are these incredibly important institutions in any community. In Cincinnati, we have some of the best. And you know, here in this building, which is just recently renovated, we not only have a place where families, folks can go to get books, which in and of itself is a wonderful, important thing, but also to get on the computer, to do homework. You know, a lot of folks don't have the same kind of access to the internet as others, and so our libraries really level that playing field. And then, you know, it's a place where community comes together, that, you know, for meetings or events. And I think in terms of this location, you're going to start to see folks start to invest near the library as it, you know, becomes really an anchor for this part of town.
Couldn't agree more. That's very informative, and the community is very excited, as you noted, for a variety of reasons. Councilmember Keating, what are your thoughts on that?
I think the library is just the epicenter of a neighborhood. It's where kids can come together and just enter into a world of imagination. It's where students can come to study and learn, and adults can come to meet with different groups. It just is a place where it builds community, it builds friendships, and just a beautiful place in the neighborhood.
Of course, we're here to hear from our very expert panelists, but also in celebration of National Library Week, all things great about libraries. So when it comes to National Library Week, which is starts April 5th, what is one activity that you would encourage the community to do at their local libraries? Checking out a book, streaming a movie, taking advantage of homework help, all those great things. If there's one or two that you think, boy, that's what I'm gonna do, or I'd love to say to the community, if you haven't tried this out, give that a shot. Councilmember Keating?
Yeah, well, my favorite thing to do at the library growing up was going in with all my siblings, and we'd all be strategic about which books we were going to pick out so that we could get as many different subjects together and come home and read them all together. So I'd encourage all the kids to go pick out your favorite books, go with your friends, go with your siblings, go with your cousins, and pick out some fun books. It's baseball season's coming up, so maybe some sports books. Summer's coming up, so maybe some books about playing outside. Whatever you want, I encourage you to go get your books and share them with your friends.
That's great, thank you. And I think everyone's looking forward to spring and how they can bring the library into all those great spring activities like baseball. Councilmember Landsman, what are your thoughts?
So, you know, as a family, we will go to the library to pick out books, sometimes movies, but, you know, it's things we do together. So my recommendation is, like, you know, we're going to celebrate our libraries for a week, and I'm really excited because Councilwoman Keating and I are going to recognize this really important week to lift up our libraries at City Council. And one of the things I'll say when we present this resolution, saying, "Hey, let's really, you know, celebrate our libraries during National Public Libraries Week," is, you know, the libraries are a great opportunity not only to bring folks together, your family, friends, to go and check out books or a movie or whatever it is, but to go check out a few neighborhoods. And so my recommendation is pick 3 libraries and go check them out, and then, you know, grab lunch or dinner or whatever it is, and have it be part of exploring a new neighborhood, in addition to grabbing some books or a movie or whatever it is to do something with your family.
That's a great suggestion. Of course, we do have 40 branch libraries in our main library downtown, so there are lots of libraries to choose from. You also mentioned the resolution that will be brought forward at council. We can't thank you enough. That support and awareness from our local leadership is so important to get people to these destination locations. We are doing our facilities master plan. Price Hill is, of course, an example of one of our new projects where we are doing exactly that, trying to invite people in the community or from outside the immediate neighborhood to come in and explore the library and use it as perhaps a jumping off point for some other things that are nearby, shopping, eating, just getting a handle on a different kind of neighborhood. So that's a great suggestion. And speaking of our new library, you have alluded to a couple of different things that have been enhanced in this great new location where we renovated the existing Carnegie building but had the good fortune to be able to add on. So I wonder if you might be able to think of a few things here at this library in particular that you might have seen today that you would say, well, that is one thing that I really think is going to be a great addition, or I just really like about the new location.
Yeah, this building is beautiful. I encourage everyone to come check it out. And what I love the most is all the new meeting spaces. Students can come here, they can study, and adults can come have meeting rooms, meet with on different projects within your community. It's just a place to bring everyone together and celebrate the beauty of this building and this neighborhood.
And Councilman Landsman, I know you also were a fan of the community meeting rooms. I don't know if you have additional thoughts on that as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think it is a remarkable building, and so I think we're all grateful that it was renovated. It is beautiful. Folks should come and check it out and use it as not just a place again to get books and to check out movies, use the internet, but to also plan meetings. And I think what we'll see, and to some extent we're already seeing it, is a reinvestment in this area, this part of Warsaw, where you'll start to see more and more folks really investing along this particular corridor, because our libraries are these hubs, and they are a central point for community, and so I think it's a really exciting time for the city and for Price Hill and for this particular part of the neighborhood that we'll start to see, I think, even more activity and excitement because of this investment.
Absolutely. That's certainly our intention, and we're going to do all that we can to work with the community, as we have been, to raise awareness and support some of that additional development and reinvestment here. Now, this library, as we've talked about, is one of our older Carnegies. It's more than 100 years old, so we've done all that we can to honor the spirit there and move forward. And while I'm not 100 years old, I have been around long enough that I used libraries as a student, and perhaps you did too. And I wonder if there's something, when we're talking about National Library Week, that you might share with us from when you were a student, about the type of student you were, or how the library was when you were a kid, how it is now when you come maybe with your own families to the libraries of today.
Well, I wasn't a great student, but I loved going to libraries and bookstores because you just walk up and down these aisles and you see the books and it makes you think about all kinds of stuff, and you'll pick one or two out, and I, even though I wasn't a great student, I always loved reading books, and so as a parent, it's one of my favorite things to do with my kids. And it was one of the harder things of the pandemic was not being able to just say, hey, let's get out of the house. I don't want to spend a lot of money. I don't want to spend any money maybe. And so let's just go to the library. And so it's so wonderful to be able to think about returning to that time where I can just grab my kids, take them to the library, spend a half an hour, and end up with a few books, maybe a movie or two that we could find on television, but it's so much more family-centric to grab something, pick it out together, and then go read it or watch it.
Absolutely. We look forward to that too, when we can invite everyone in. Service has been available, but as you noted, the library is this place that we try to make it as frictionless as we can. Stop by, come and go. So that's really a great element of libraries. Councilmember Keating?
Yeah, when I think of going to the library as a kid, I think of that smell as soon as you walk in of all the books and the magic of seeing floor to ceiling, just so many books and so many opportunities to pick out and meet new characters and dive into new stories. And I think of the trickling of the water with the pond with the goldfish at my neighborhood library. Just brings back so many fun, beautiful memories. And now my kids are really little, and I'm so excited to be able to bring them back into the library to recreate that magic that I think of so fondly back in my childhood, and let them live that experience again.
Thank you very much. I agree, the stories that are in the library are sort of a secret thing that you just have to uncover when you're here. So that's a great example. We talked a little bit about the last year, the disruption due to the pandemic, and we know that it has caused a lot of upheaval in the lives of our community members that we all serve. I wonder if you might maybe share a few ways that you can see our organizations broadly across the community, including the library, coming together to find new ways to serve our community. You know, we have done a lot of virtual programming to try and keep people attached even if they can't gather together. And of course, the library has done different things around meal service, provided snacks and meals, thousands across the city and county during the past year. And also we have done COVID testing at many of our sites in partnership with the Health Collaborative and other agencies. So I don't know if you have some thoughts about those or what you've heard from your constituents or those that you serve that have been particularly important partnerships.
Yeah, I mean, I think the public libraries have done what they've always done, which is, be that really reliable, safe place for everyone, literally everyone. And so what I saw during the pandemic was, in addition to trying to make sure that folks could still access books and enjoy the library even if they couldn't come in, because of where the libraries are, deeply rooted in neighborhoods, libraries became food distribution sites, places where people could get tested, and it just is a nice reminder that, no matter what the scenario is, this is a place that will always be there to meet needs, and across the board for every single person. So it's really remarkable what our libraries have done during the pandemic.
Councilmember Keating.
We are so lucky to have the Cincinnati Public Library here, and they are just an incredible resource for every neighborhood where people can come together. It's a place to study, it's a place to meet, it's a place to be able to go into a new world of imagination, to read books, and we saw them continue their mission of service to our communities throughout COVID, as a COVID testing site, as a place to get meals, as a place to continue to get resources and the right information that we needed throughout this pandemic. And we like I said, we are just so lucky to have the Cincinnati Public Library, and going forward, so excited that the doors are going to be open, the community can come back together and celebrate these beautiful buildings with these beautiful books, and come together and bring back that neighborhood feel again.
Absolutely. So we've talked a lot about our feelings, which are great, but of course the library is very interested in being good stewards of the dollars that we receive generously from our levies and also at the state level, at the state budget. So our statistics do show that for every dollar our library spends, the direct benefit to the community is $5.12. What do you feel the library does that gets us a great bang for our buck?
So our public libraries are one of the most important public goods that we invest in part because everybody uses them. I mean, it is for every family, every person, regardless of race, economic status. It is the one thing, or one of very few things that everybody uses. And so, I think that the fact that it is this universal benefit makes a big difference, but also because, many families, we go to the library and then we go do other things. And so it is a way to really get into a neighborhood, into a community, and then, go find other things to do in that community. But ultimately, It is really the investment in human beings and their education and their development and how they grow as people, and then that amazing return is, I'm surprised it's not tenfold, because that is what really makes the biggest difference in terms of how well people do, is do they have this kind of enrichment in their lives, and when they use the library, as so many of our families do, they do.
Absolutely, and that relationship building and the fantastic staff we have. I think when people think of the library, they certainly think of the buildings, but they also think of the people inside the buildings that greet them and know them every day. I think that is basically our list of questions. I want to offer you the opportunity, if you want to say anything else or do any other comment at all, you're welcome to.
I think we hear a lot about the importance of investing in families and how strong our families are or need to be in order for us as a community to be as strong as possible. And there's a lot that goes into that. Having, really well-resourced libraries, public libraries, is a big piece of that, because it does create these opportunities for families to grow closer, right? There are the books, and what happens when you dive into a book and the enrichment of reading, but there's something I think even more important, and that is how it brings families together, how it brings parents and their children together, where they not only go and do something together by picking out books, but then they go home and they sit down together and read, and that time together is so important.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And of course, we had the opportunity to talk on the panel that you all put together in early March about reading, and that idea of how important it is as an activity that builds that network of relationship and family. So thank you very much for adding that. Absolutely. And Councilmember Keating?
Councilmember Landsman and I are really proud to celebrate National Public Library Week. We encourage you all to go out to your neighborhood library, take your family, take your friends, pick out some books and read together. Cincinnati is so lucky to have the Cincinnati Public Library, and we are proud to celebrate it this week.
Thank you. Excellent. Thank you both so much. I know, knocked out of the park.